from My Quantum Affected Life. That is her channel name. And her and I had an amazing synchronistic thing happen to us on Sunday. I mean, when she was telling me about it, what happened to her, it blew my socks off. But let me allow her to introduce herself to you and tell you a little bit about her channel. And then we'll get into what happened to us. So, yeah, it was pretty awesome.
Well, thank you for having me on. One, two, really great that we connected on Discord, and all the amazing people that are there. To everyone watching who doesn't know me, I'm Elishua. I recently changed my channel name to My Quantum Affected Life, which is the header for most of my videos that I have on there. My channel came about because I was affected by the Mandela Effect, but I saw that Mandela Effect was too narrow of a term, had too narrow of a definition for everything that's happening. And I started it because I wanted people who are fresh to experiencing the Mandela Effect and all of the things that come with it to not feel like they're crazy, to not feel like they're alone. And through getting involved in the community on Facebook, on YouTube, on Discord, I'm really happy to have a tribe of people across the whole world, all different backgrounds of upbringing and socioeconomic statuses. This is an incredible experience that we are having right now, and it's only getting better from here. So I'm really glad to be here.
Yes, it is. It's just like it's an exciting time to be alive as we are remembering who we are and what we're able to do. It's like, what? Okay, let's get into telling our story about our synchronicity. Okay, if you guys have been watching my videos, I did a video talking about on Mother's Day, I got into the car leaving from my mom's house, and my husband was driving, and I was so wore out, I just fell asleep. Well, about an hour into the drive home, it's about a 3-hour drive, I woke up and I told my husband, I said, this energy, I don't know what's going on. It's dense. It was heavy. I felt pressure on my head. I even told him, I said, I think something happened. And it was later on that night that I actually saw that something did happen. And then I actually made a video about what was going on, which actually validated when she came into the chat forum and started talking about, a couple of days ago, I'll let her tell her side, but it was like synchronicity after synchronicity after synchronicity. So that is what I'm going to tell you up to this point that happened to me on Sunday. And then we'll talk about what we both discovered that was also in sync after that. So what happened to you on Sunday?
I was in commute and it felt like my car was really sluggish. Like, I was like, uh-oh, here we go. Now I have another repair. Like, why is my car going like half speed? Look down at the speedometer, and I'm still going the same speed as I normally drive. Pretty fast. I'm on the freeway. I'm like, what is so thick? Like, felt just like reality was soup. I'm like looking in the sky, seeing if anything's different, if it's turned purple. I don't know. But the feeling of just a thick reality followed me through the whole day. I'm thinking, what is going on? And for anyone who's watching who's subscribed to my channel, know that I feel the shifts pretty solidly. So I knew something was not right. Like it felt like I was swimming through reality for the entire day.
So heavy, really heavy, yeah. Dense.
So heavy. I mean, it just felt like my words were coming out of my mouth slower. My thoughts were coming slower. It was like I was in resistance moving through this real-time space.
And see, guys, in common there, we were both in transit. I was in the vehicle coming home. She was in her vehicle. I was passenger, so I fell asleep. It was so heavy. And then when I woke up, that's what I was feeling. She was driving, so she had to deal with it driving. I couldn't even imagine trying to deal with what I was feeling. And then something that came to mind was, you know, that's the energy that I used to operate and live in. I talk about often how we're met where we're at and we're brought along. Well, when this first happened and I felt this energy now that I live in daily, I thought I would never get back there. Okay. And it was foreign to me, but it was so ecstatic and euphoric and so much joy and love. And a couple of weeks later, it happened again. And then over time, I spend more time in this lighter energy. So when that hit me, I was like, oh, oh my gosh, to think that we lived in that, we tried to operate in that dense, heavy energy is just wow. Okay, on with the story. I did a video which confirms what she's talking about, which she got to see after the fact, after she told me what was going on with her. But another thing that synced up was I talked about when I laid down to go to sleep, when I stopped trying to, figure out and what am I going to do, what decisions. And I had a very active dream. I dreamt, well, I'm not really going to tell you what I dreamt because, it really doesn't matter. What the point is, I got the answer that I was looking for in my dream. And what mine was trying to tell me was there's a ripple effect behind every decision that we make. And we are responsible for whatever decisions that we make. So if I was, whatever decision I made, it was going to affect other people, my loved ones or whatever in my wake. And as becoming a conscious creator, I want to make sure that I'm heart-based and I'm not creating misery or hardship on other people who love me, who care about me, who would be affected by the decisions that I make. Now I'll let her take over and tell you what happened to her. It's amazing.
The synchronicities, I mean, they just keep on rolling as we share our stories. Now, either I'm really slow on the uptake, or maybe I needed a few more days to process whatever it was that I needed to know. But Tuesday night, I had a very vivid dream and had a couple of people from my life who were main stars in that dream. Of course, when I woke up, I couldn't remember what the dream was about. However, when I was in the dream state, I could taste, touch, feel, have full sensory. I felt very loved, very cared for. Everything was really serene. But I woke up yesterday. Was it Tuesday? No, it was Monday night. And I woke up yesterday very clear about some decisions I needed to make. Very clear in the direction I wanted my life to go, as I'm in the process of leaving an 18-year career with really no direction. Actually, I had some direction, but it was pulled all over the place. And so when I woke up yesterday morning, I felt very clear. Woke up with an outline to a book in my head, and very, very clear decisions, and felt very content, and probably more alive than I'd felt in the past few weeks. But yeah, it was a very real dream, and woke up having felt like either my higher self or the people that were in my dream were helping me move forward into making those rather clear decisions. So when
Yes.
yeah, when you shared your experience with me before I even came back and watched your videos, I was just like, this is crazy. No, it's not crazy. It's not. I mean, it's not crazy though, because it's happening.
It's so crazy, it's sane.
Yeah, but it's happening more frequently. I mean, I can have discussions with many people whether they're Mandela affected or not, or if they're on a path of ascension or not, talking with people on a regular basis and having very similar situations, thoughts, circumstances within those conversations with the people that I interact with. So I want to say it's crazy, but it's not, because it happens all the time now.
Right. It does. I mean, and the synchronicities in our story, I got a very clear and definitive answer in mine. But but what mine was is it was something that I really didn't want to face. I didn't want to know this, but it's been nudging at me for a while. So, and my heart got broke a little bit, but it's okay. It's okay. What I did find is when I woke up the next morning, I was right back up into that energy that I was accustomed to now. And that heavy energy was gone. It was gone. And I think you had that similar experience. You just said you went, back to that joy and happy and carefree, you settled it out. That decision was made.
Yeah, it was, I mean, like I said, it was the most alive I'd felt in weeks. And, mine was dealing with a situation I didn't, and I thought about this today after our conversation last night, that the decisions that I was making were the decisions that I thought I should be making, instead of the decisions that will serve my higher self and my 3D, 4D, 5D self to its best advantage. So, I mean, again, it's something I didn't want to face because it requires a lot of me. But it was something that once I woke up with that very clear decision, that very clear message, I felt amazing. And I was back through easy breezy world. Even today, just driving, it felt like colors were more vibrant again, and I could see things in more detail.
Back to normal. back to our
normal.
New normal. It's our new normal. Guys, I have her channel listed in the show more notes below. So make sure that, you check out her channel. Like I said, excuse me, it's called My Quantum Affected Life. She talks about, from what I've seen of it, some Mandela effects, quantum effects. And of course, by the name of her channel, you can obviously tell she's going to branch out into a lot of different areas of like ascension symptoms that she feels, the energies that she feels. And it's just a beautiful thing. I just love to see that so many of us are taking our positions, for as everybody is remembering who and what they are. So let's get more into like gifts and abilities that have been stirred up with you. What have you noticed? And let me start with something. Let me ask you, when did you start noticing major shifts happening in your life? Was it 2012? Was it 2001? Or when did you notice significant shifts in your life?
So I was affected by the Mandela Effect in spring, summer of 2016. And that happened right around the tail end of a very unhappy relationship. And I had started doing a lot of self-development, was really seeking source creator and seeking my higher self in regards to moving forward and being my best self. And then from once I saw it, I saw it all. I felt it.
I'm sorry, what year was that?
2016.
2016. Wow. So you've come this far in, see guys, in just a couple years. Mine was 2012. So talk about a slow learner. Okay, go on. Go on with your testimony.
So, I mean, really, since then, it's like I know when the big shifts happen, and then the personal smaller shifts. And And for anyone who is Mandela affected and feels the shifts, you know that those symptoms are the fatigue and the battling low vibration, trying to muddle through it. Some of us get depression, some of us get migraines. I get a little bit of nauseousness or dizziness out of nowhere for no reason. But that's been kind of how I've gone through the shifts. And thankfully, being part of the community, everyone that I've been interacting with are experiencing the same things and are all there to support one another through those. Thank goodness, because some of them would make me feel like I was ready to go out of my mind. Thankfully, I'm not my thoughts. I am not my body.
What if since ours is so in sync with what happened on Sunday, what if when we're feeling what you're equating to a shift is it's yourself, higher self, God, Holy Spirit. Let's not worry about the labels, but trying to get your attention to tell you that there is a decision or that something that you're deciding on doing will have a ripple effect, or, and you're feeling that heavy energy for something else, or that somebody else around you is making decisions and they're affecting you and you're trudging through that lowerness because of another co-creator. Because one thing that I've realized, guys, is whether asleep or awake, it doesn't matter. We're all manifesting. It's just we're coming into the time of Aquarius where we are remembering who and what we are. And the universe talks to us all individually. And since you just gave testimony of feeling that like shift type symptom and then having a big decision to make, do you think that would more tie into it and maybe give some people some relief on those ascension symptoms, that maybe something is going on with somebody else making a decision that will affect them, or they're making a decision that will affect others as we become more self-aware? What's your thoughts on that?
I didn't even really consider that until this last experience, being as just a couple days after having had that sluggish shift feel, to come to a realization, and then having a conversation with someone else who felt that and also came to a realization. Looking back, some of those shifts I can attribute to I needed to make a decision and was being pushed towards that, or there were other people in my life that needed to be making a decision and were possibly co-creators in that. But
right,
it didn't
you were
dawn
being
on me.
affected.
It didn't even dawn on me that could be a possible reason for that.
It's food for thought. Let that digest for a while. Think about the flower of life, that integral design, how it all overlaps over each other. And if we think of it, as all of us are creating, whether asleep or aware, and as you become more aware, self-aware, there's more responsibility that comes upon, because we know when you get to a certain level, forget that word. I'm sorry. Level is not even. It's an awareness. More responsibility comes on us because you are aware that what you're manifesting, what you're co-creating with everybody else, affects everybody else. And the more aware that we become of it, the more we need to seek heart. And it is a complete new way of walk. We've all got to crawl first, and then we get up on our feet and walk, and then we begin to run, and then we begin to fly. It's a growing process. So as we're moving through this, as a one, because we are all one at the core, even though there's people asleep and awake, we're all co-creating, and it overlaps and affects each and every one of us. Some people, as they're going through their awakening, their remembering of who they are, can feel the effects of a decision that somebody else made that's going to force them to have to make a decision that they may not really want to make. Or it could be you're going to make a decision that could have a ripple effect behind you. So with that, kind of a way of thinking, and knowing that we're all equals because we're all creating this place together, it brings me such hope, for the future, that we will create an equality based paradise on earth. It's just a matter of time when people remember what they're actually doing. And, we're already doing it. So, yeah, what do you think about that? Let's throw it back into your court.
I'll throw it back in my court. Well, and I mean, I think that just comes back down to, or go back to talking about gifts, our abilities that we all have in us innately, but we're remembering, I discussed with you and several other people, I feel like I'm coming into my leadership gift, leadership of self, leadership of others, not and leadership with others, because we're all leaders in and of ourselves. But also, having known I had an innate healing ability, but not really knowing how to access that. And since having become affected, I am now learning how to access that, and how to access that at will, as well as a whole bunch of other gifts, and continuing to learn about more gifts that I didn't even know were there, and learning from everyone I interact with, because everyone I come into contact with has something to teach me. I have something to learn.
I like the word that you're using of leadership. And with leadership comes great responsibility. And as we are becoming aware, and we're, it's a process. Like I said, we may think I'm a broken record, but we need to crawl, then walk, then run, then fly. And as we're becoming more aware of what we're able to do, these things that we've been doing all our life in the dark are coming into the light. With leadership comes a great deal of responsibility. And with the responsibility, that's what makes a great leader. So, I love that word. And I also am, oh my gosh, praise to you, with just a couple years, as far as you are, advanced. And I'll tell you, it wasn't that easy for me. I mean, I really stumbled around quite a bit. I'm in awe of your growth and of your understanding. Guys, I highly recommend that you subscribe to her channel. She's going to be putting out a lot of great content that will help a lot of people. Also, make sure you subscribe to my channel too. Hit that like button. We're nowhere done. That was just a little channel maintenance, and I do want to point out again that word leadership. She was saying, she was fighting herself over her leadership position. Well, we are all leaders, as we are all equals. We are all co-creators. The Bible itself says King of Kings. Okay, if he's the King of Kings, then he's a king among all of us kings. Okay. And I'm not trying to put a sex on it or anything. I'm saying we're all royalty. That's what Christ's message is. Take your role, take your position. We are all leaders. We are all creating what is going on around us. Expand on that a little bit, Elishua. I'm really interested in the inner battle that you went through, and letting people know a little more about you. And then to finally, ready to step up into that, and how it has advanced you now that you're taking that position of leadership.
Oh boy. I was a leader as a youth and through my teenage years. I've always been very involved in my religion. Well, I can't even call it my religion anymore, but I grew up Christian, and I was very active in the faith community. I was in leadership of my youth group, not just at my local church, but for the statewide denomination youth group. And I started another multi-denominational youth group that ran for 2 years under my leadership, and then continued for another 3 years after I had left high school. Somewhere along the way, I either lost touch with that part of myself, or I just didn't want the responsibility of being a leader. And then in my 30s, I became a mom. I was a single mom. I didn't know, left from right and up from down at that point. As I continued to dive into spirituality and getting close to Source Creator and becoming aware of the collective consciousness and being able to access the collective consciousness, and just continued to grow from there. And over the course of the last close to about a year of my life, I've had people attracted into my realm of influence that were urging me and gently encouraging me to move forward in my leadership capabilities. And it's been a process. It's taken about a year of me to finally go, okay, this is really what I need to do.
See what I'm talking about, guys? A year. She's complaining about a year. Wow. I'm just in awe of you. Continue.
Oh, stop with the in awe.
Well, I mean, I've had this going on since 2012. And so, it's taken me a little while to wrap my noodle around it. And with you talking about being in, very involved with the church and church groups and stuff, that was a lot of indoctrination that I had to overcome, that we're all sinners and we all fall short and all that. And anything that, don't touch this, do touch that, you're going to go to hell. I had to overcome all of that indoctrination to be set free. But I'll tell you though, Christ himself says those he sets free are free indeed. And I held on to there was a few of his scriptures, a few of the words that they have in the Bible that he said, which was, once, you've got the spiritual going on with you, he will never leave you or forsake you. And the other word, that those that he sets free are free indeed. So the truth is in the Bible. It's when I read the Bible now, I've got a new set of eyes. It's such a beautiful book. But what do you think about the scripture changes? Have you seen those? Have they affected you? What's going on there?
Well, first, I want to address the indoctrination. I was always thinking outside of the religion and the indoctrination. I did a lot of studying on other religions as I was being very active within my faith. And very early on was more than convinced that most of the world's religions are all God inspired, but are different because of the men that translated sources' words. And then, when it comes back down to it, we have one creator, we have one source. That's how we're all part of it, as a drop of water in the ocean is still a drop of water. It's also the ocean.
Right.
And now I'm rambling and I forgot what the actual question was.
With you being, I was talking about, that you were teaching the children and, with the Christian background, and you pretty much answered it by saying that you'd always thought that there was more. So always thinking, so you weren't allowing yourself to be put in a box. Even if somebody tried to shove you in that box, you're like, nope, I'm not going to be in that box. And that's a great way of thinking, because when we allow the outside world to influence us, or like I said, other people creating things to influence us, which they do because they're co-creating around us. But it is almost like popping out of that box, knocking those walls down and watching the growth. Just, that seed is planted and you just watch that huge tree just, and then starts bearing all this fruit. I mean, there's truth in the scriptures if you've got the right eyes to read it. It's not meant to be a a book of fleecing, bowing, scraping. Actually, I did a video on which God are you serving. People will, with their own words, will show you which God, you know, and it's sad when somebody feels that they're not enough, or they're just a dirty, rotten sinner, or that they're less than what they truly are. Because from one thing that I've learned through this whole growing process that I'm still continuing to grow and go through is that everybody is equal. There, you know, and the problem that we have is that the equality has not been recognized because we have been through news programs, other things like that. They seem to be methods of having us create what they want. One of the big things that kind of tipped me off, in 2001, I started having active dreams and visions. I went to the doctor. They said I was having night terrors and put me on a pill and said, here you go, take this pill. Okay, so the dreams stopped, but I was still taking that medication in 2012. It was like, bink, wake up. You've had 11 years. Get over it. You got to make up for some lost time. Which that also proves to me that there's nothing here that can hurt us. It's just what we think in our mind. And so then the growing process begins, because it can break through something that was supposed to be a medication to stop all dreaming or night terrors, as they said. It broke on through. So the spirit is much stronger than anything that we create here, which is a beautiful thing. But I was talking about, you know, how people get put into these boxes, and then we find out that as we're remembering who and what we are, that what we are creating through news and programs that are put out there for us, they get us to create a world that they want. And as we are all remembering who we are going to be creating a world of paradise and equality. What do you think about that? You have anything to add?
No, I think that's exactly where we're headed. I mean, and you're seeing it all over YouTube and all over the community. I mean, we are here. We have chosen to be here, to be in this now, because we are on our way to one of the most exciting events in all of the universe's history. And that is humanity moving up, leveling up, getting back to our former selves. It's like the future past self that we're returning to. It's the future past Earth that we're returning to, where we are back in a peaceful, equality-minded world, and it's beautiful. And I was watching a few of your videos earlier when, you know, we're not going to need money, and we're not going to need, you know, it's because there's going to have that equality. It's going to be share and share alike, learn and teach back and forth with one another. And that's absolutely where we're going. And I see glimpses of it too. I mean, I see glimpses of it in my dreams. I see glimpses of it in waking hours, seeing personalities of people that I've known to be cranky little sour people into starting to joke, starting to laugh, have a little twinkle in their eye. Nothing significant has changed in their life, but there's some peace seeping into their being. And that's, you know, that's part of this happening, this now, this growing and becoming. I don't even know that there's words that really aptly describe what humanity is entering into right now. And if anybody,
what we truly are, I mean, what we are, what is being revealed to us on who and what we truly are. I mean, just we're remembering. Think about, you know, even in the Bible, you know, since you taught, you know, that they said that they lived like 900 and something years, and you know, okay, well, what did they know back then that they were living so long? Did they know this information? And then over time, it was forgotten. And here we are coming into the age of Aquarius, where it's the golden age, the age of knowing. It's pretty exciting. What do you think? I mean, do you think people are going to live to 1,000 years old? Do you think hospitals and doctors and things like that will be a thing of the past because we'll have healers through energy work and things like that going on? Like people will follow their passion, and as everything is available to everyone, equal portions to everyone, it'll be more of a heart-based passion that people will go after, whether they want to teach the little children as they're growing up to be free thinkers, creators of beauty, or whether they're going to be a healer and use energetic healing remedies, or, just disband all any kind of disease. Have you ever seen I know I'm bird walking, but those commercials where they put out for a certain kind of a medication and stuff, and they put all these symptoms out, and then everybody's like, the next day, oh, I have all those symptoms, I better go to the doctor and get that medication. Isn't that kind of plain to see that you just manifested that into your body, and now you're going to run out, and they did their job as an advertiser to get people to manifest that in themselves to sell that medication? What do you think about that kind of nonsense?
It's absolute. I think that's right on the right path, nail on the head thinking. Why religious texts have been written to control certain peoples in the fear base. When you look today, when it comes to the commercials, the news, the science fiction fantasy movies that paints our future as dark and despairing, it's all fear-based to manipulate humanity into co-creating the reality that whomever it is that's deciding that everything that we see is going to cause fear and negativity want us to create, which is to line their pockets with gold.
Right. I have this feeling, this feeling within me that there are those secret societies that know they know. Okay. And here's the thing, guys. We're letting the cat out of the bag, so to speak. We're letting their secrets be known to everybody, anybody that's willing to listen and understand and let it take root in them of who and what they are, for them to rise up and take their leadership role. I really like that. Can we touch back a little bit more on what was the inner battle? What did it feel like to you when you were, and that's something that we also have in common. When I had this amazing thing happen, I had a problem with dealing with, am I, feeling chosen or elected or selected, or, all those things whirl around. And then through humility, I popped through that and realized the equality in everybody. But I fought it just like what you're talking about. And it took me a long time to get through that, and accept that responsibility. And it is about accepting responsibility for everything that I've created, co-created, manifested throughout my life, and taking the responsibility off of other people that were around me, and realize that I was a partaker in that. So it helped me with forgiveness. But talk a little bit more about what was going on in you with your inner battle of your leadership role. Because it sounds like another synchronicity that we have that that it took me a long time, and it was because of indoctrination that it took me so long to pop out of that that problem.
It's been something that I've been love hating myself with over the course of the last probably 8 years. I finally, this, and the beginning of it started about 8 years ago. I decided to quit my job that I was working for my mom and sell everything that I couldn't fit into on top of my car and move out to Arizona, and I was going to do things my way, and I was going to build those boundaries. So I was already kind of doing a little toe dipping into my leadership of self and my leadership of how I was going to be allowed to be treated. But then I would be given an opportunity to become more and not just make leadership of self to be like my stubborn headed, this is what we're going to do and we're just going to do it and da da da. But also stepping up in the leadership of, maybe I can get a little bit of a promotion, have more responsibilities at work, doing it really begrudgingly. And, but then feeling like, dang it, I should have more responsibility. But, so, I mean, it was constantly this tug of war with myself. And, I've been involved in a couple of network marketing companies over the course of the last several years, which I know now, I mean, that's not part of my path. That's not the type of business model I want to pursue. But it's because of the relational factor, and how I want to do business is not conducive to that model. But being involved in those types of businesses, you as a leader, to build up your team, to generate a larger network, to create a business from, you have to be able and willing to mentor and be vulnerable, and also be authentic, as well as to train and to guide and to lead. And fought that a little bit too, because I'd do it unknowingly, and then someone's like, "Oh, well, you should be da da da." I'm like, no. No, we'll back away. So, and I might still be dealing with and battling that. I know that that's what I need to step into. As of, yesterday morning, waking up going, okay, this is the direction we need to go. And I'm sure I'll drag my feet a little bit with that. I have a really hard time allowing myself to fully immerse in things that I've been struggling allowing myself to be. Part of that is because while I was in leadership, I had people tell me, "Oh, you're so bossy," or, but it's not ever been that coming from me, but just that strong leadership coming through, not trying to, and also being in resistance with myself. I might have come off as a bossy because there was a war within myself. So as being a leader to others, I was also in resistance with those I was leading.
Right. It is one of those things that I talk about it often, that what's going on in the micro within you is actually going out in the macro. Like, I see beautiful skies now with puffy white clouds, and, just this beauty just all around me now. It's wonderful. So with leadership comes great responsibility. We had something else in common, although that it's different. When I go swimming or when I'm showering, this information just kind of drops into me. And I know you were talking about when you're being creative, you've got somebody in your chair, you're actually handing them a pad of paper now, because what happens to you when you are working on them? I mean, it's another synchronicity that we have going on in this awakening process. It's beautiful.
Yeah, I haven't started handing people a notepad and a pen yet, but I should. As I was relating with you, I've been working very diligently to connect to the collective and connect to source, and be in closer attunement with higher self. And I get, really good messages in my meditations, in my dreams. But I, more often than not, when I have ideas or epiphanies that come full-fledged, like bright HD, full HD, you know, in my head, I'm generally blow drying somebody's hair. And like I told you, Michelle, you know, I feel that's because I do feel so connected to the collective now that I feel like, you know, I can go into a meditation and I can be in meditation with myself, or I can be in meditation with others. But I feel that that connection to the collective gets stronger when I'm in touch space. You know, I can be washing someone's hair and start talking just randomly about random something, and it will have been on their mind. And oh, well, gee, it's funny you should bring that up because I da 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 da. But I also connect higher with my higher self and get those past future memories of what I should be doing or where I should be going or whatever it is while I'm in touch space with another human being.
So what is your passion? And when I'm talking about passion, I mean like with this new understanding that you're coming into, what is the thing that you are the most passionate about with the gifts stirred up in you at this moment?
Oh man, that's a really good question. I am the most excited about, even when I'm alone, I'm not alone because I am part of the collective and I am part of a community that is active, not just in this here now space, but also in the collective space. There have been mornings that I woke up like feeling like a million bucks, feeling like someone did energy work on me all night long. And also mornings waking up feeling kind of depleted because I feel like I had worked on someone else in my dream state. By far and away, that's probably the biggest thing is being able to be in commune with the collective.
Nice.
I mean, that's
Nice.
really that's the biggest thing, right? That's part of it. And I think a lot of people that have been affected can relate in saying that they always felt a little different, a little out of place. Maybe this isn't their home. Kind of only having a few friends, being like that satellite friend who just got along with everybody, but didn't really have any, but maybe a couple really real connected relationships.
That seems to be a common thing too. In the beginning, that's what I felt. I felt disjointed, that I wanted to go home. Like this was not my home. I was in a foreign place and I wanted to go home. So yeah, that's interesting that you just brought that up, because another synchronicity. I tell you, I am really enjoying this interview because we have so much in common with our journey that it's just sync after sync after sync. Okay, I'm sorry. Continue.
Well, but I think that's it's a synchronicity, yes, but I think for those of us who are seeing this, who are feeling this, experiencing this, who are aware of other people that are starting to see and aware of where we're going, I think that's just innately part of our being. Maybe we were unintentionally a little on the solitude end, so that we could protect ourselves and learn and grow to the best of our abilities prior to being aware of
Prior to coming out. I do notice that too. A lot of people want to spend a lot of time alone. And you know what? That I tell everybody all the time, use discernment and always seek within, because everything, that you want to know is within you. It's just a matter of learning to trust those feelings that we're having, learning to make good decisions, good leadership roles, taking responsibility for what you're manifesting, what you're creating for other people. And it's just such a beautiful dance that we are all doing here together. I wanted to ask you, it seems like, people are located all over the place, kind of sporadically. Did you ever get the feeling like you were there to like hold your position?
Um, kind of a yes and no. I don't know. Because when I woke up to the Mandela Effect, I didn't have as long of a period of freak out as most people do. It was almost as if I was expecting it. Um, so after, dealing with all the things that had changed and then, waiting for certain other things to change and then seeing it happen, I really moved past, well, the Ford logo and, oh, well, that movie line changed. The Bible changes, which, I didn't really actually answer that question now that I think about it. But
Yeah, answer that question, ma'am.
I'll come right back to it.
Okay.
Oh shoot, where was I going with that?
I'm so sorry.
I moved really quickly past that into knowing that this space that we are now in is very malleable, and it's happening because of the co-creation. And for a good while, I was convinced that we were alternating back and forth between realities. But I guess in a sense, we really are, because as we co-create, we're in a new realm as we continue to co-create. Every new now is a new reality anyway. And I saw myself as kind of an ambassador of sorts. I was very active in the Facebook Mandela Effect communities. And now I've branched out to others, and I've been kind of like hit and miss on dealing with all the energy shifts. But I didn't feel like I needed to hold the space I'm in, but maybe just hold space in general, to be the calm in the storm of coming to the realization that we live in a malleable reality, and that things are not as we remembered and continue to change from what we remembered to what changed to something else. So maybe in a sorts, I am here to hold space. I feel like everyone has a job, whether it's to teach or to heal or to be the calm or to be a warrior or whatever, because we're going to need all of those personalities. And in my welcoming to and calming down, because there's two spectrums usually when you wake up. You get really excited like a puppy dog, or you get really freaked out.
That's right.
But once getting past that, I could start connecting people to other people that were similar to them. Being able to see the healer at the forefront, or to see the warrior at the forefront of each person's persona, and get them involved with the communities and the people that they need to be involved in. So yeah, I mean, I guess talking about saying it out loud, I am here to hold space. Oh, and back to the Bible, since I touched on it and I didn't answer it earlier. The Bible changes freaked me out. I'm not gonna lie. I've read the Bible. I
Definitely.
I've read the Bible 5 times in my life. Okay, you guys, I came to Christ when I was 5 years old. I remember it like it was yesterday. Read the Bible 5 times. I was in Bible quizzing for 4 years, and our team went to nationals twice. I went to a private Christian college for a year. I was actually going to be a youth minister. So I'm very familiar with the Bible, and they freaked me out, because the changes felt wrong. They felt as if it was happening from the resistance, the evil, or whatever name we want to give the other side. And I got right back into my Bible, and I was looking for the changes, and then I stepped away again. I was like, oh man, it just I can't, because I'm so familiar with the Bible. Um, and honestly, I haven't looked at the changes in the Bible anymore. But as I'm seeing things like here and there on Facebook and every now and again on YouTube, I'll look at like the title of Aya's or Migs B's channels, and I'm like, okay, well that's changed again. But then, you know, I think a lot of it is there. I think there's a little tug of war going on when it comes to religious text changing. But as we're starting to see, or I'm starting to see, is that the initial changes felt wrong, felt dark.
Did you
But
think
now,
that, like, one of the things that bothered me the most was like Christ's personality was changed?
yes, that when that changed happened, that's when I put the Bible down.
Yes.
Um, because I don't need to read I don't need to read the Bible. I've written the Word of God on my heart,
Very
and
good.
and I'm in communication with Source Creator God all day, every day now.
Right. And that's more important than any book that, that we have manifested here, is the reconnection. I think it's his name's Case. Yes. Case from Everyday Masters. He came into the States, and what he's doing is a reconnection tour. He's going and reconnecting people back to source, opening their eyes. What a beautiful thing. Let me say hi to the chat. We only have a few more minutes. We've got Seeker. Hi. Boom, boom. Bob. I thought I saw Double O in there. Do you guys have any questions? Scrolling up. Oh, we got Dead GPK. Ooh, Captain Lee 777. I'm sorry, Capt Lee Raptor 777. Prize, huh? Is there a prize being given out? Can I get it? Bob Bant sporting some fingernails there. Yeah, we won't go there. I think I saw the wonderful Magi. Yes, he's in there too. If you guys have any questions for Elishua, please type them in now. And then so she can address them, because we've got just a few minutes. Remember, guys, like, share, and subscribe. And also, her channel is in the show more notes. Go ahead, subscribe there. She's got some good stuff coming out. She's got, just from talking to her myself, she's got the gift. She's got stuff to share. She's going to spread it out all over the place. And, the more of us that know, the better off, and the better this place will be, and the more we will all grow. So I'll give you a minute to tell them how to contact you, what the best methods are, and I'll while the chat, I'm giving them a second to type in questions that they may have, and then we'll zip this up. It's been great.
It has been great. Thank you for having me on. I really am honored. Really, it is such a pleasure to know you and to interact with you regularly. I just had someone send me a text message saying that they don't have a YouTube name, but they've been watching. Thanks, Jerry. And double O, double O, honey, I caught your message earlier. Yes, I would love to do a live stream like this with you. I will subscribe to your channel and catch up kind of and see what you are like. And I know that you're in Discord too, so I do intend on being more active there.
Excuse me, Double O. This is Michelle's opinions, and so you can scalp guests around my show, not during my show. Okay, tell them a little bit about your channel name, and if you have a Facebook page you've got set, or anything
yes,
going on. And
so I am on Discord. I'm in the Flame channel, and I think Boom Boom's been throwing up invites to Discord. I'm in Discord. You're welcome to send me a friend request. I am on Facebook. My full name is Elishua Pickett. It's spelled funny. I'm really easy to find. Type in my first name. It's in the description box, and I'll be like one of the first pictures to pop up. I also have my email attached to my YouTube channel. I think I figured that out today. And you're welcome to send me an email as well. I'm kind of everywhere. I'm pop in on multiple channels and comment, and like to just pop in and say hi. I watched some people's lives. It kind of just depends on my schedule. My Quantum Affected Life is my channel. It used to be just my name, Elishua Pickett, but I wanted to kind of dedicate that to my Quantum Affected Life, which I've been really irregular about. However, I am going to be more diligent about getting videos out regularly, because I do love this community, and there are things that happen daily that
That's right. That's right.
I mean, it's daily. It's all day, every day that there are things that happen. Did a live few weeks back with Mel at Amber's place, and I've done one phone interview with, why can't I remember that off the top of my head? Oh, he's gonna kick my butt for not remembering.
That's okay, hon. Okay, Bob is not wanting us
last year in the fall when I did that interview.
Bob's not wanting us to end the show. I don't know, Bob. But what we'll do for Bob is, guys, please drop the link to the chat forum or Flame, and her and I will both be in there. Are you willing to go into the Flame for a little bit and visit with people that watched? Great.
Absolutely.
Okay, guys. That's it for Michelle's opinions tonight. And I had Elishua from My Quantum Affected Life. Make sure you check the show more notes, subscribe to her channel. Please like, share, and subscribe this video and this channel too. I'm getting some very amazing people to come out, tell their stories. We're seeing unity and diversity. It is such a beautiful thing. We're all stepping into our leadership roles and taking our positions as conscious creators. We've always been creators, but now we're becoming aware of it. And the manifestations and the changes that are going on around us are off the charts. We all are learning from each other. We're growing daily. It's an exciting time to be alive. I will talk to you guys soon. Peace.